Okay, hi. This lesson is on geometric sequences. In the next lesson, we'll talk about geometric series. Okay, what is a geometric sequence? A geometric sequence is a sequence in which consecutive terms are multiplied by the same number. This is called the common ratio. Whatever you're multiplying by is your common ratio. So, let's see. Let's say you have something like this. This is a geometric sequence because every time here we are multiplying by 3. Okay, so my common ratio then is 3. That is a geometric sequence. Okay, so we want to be able to distinguish between a geometric sequence, an arithmetic sequence, and then if it's neither one of those two things. So it says do that, and then if possible, find the common ratio or difference. Here, I notice that this is decreasing, and it looks like it's decreasing by 7. Now, does that happen again? Yup. Okay, so this one is arithmetic. And then my common difference is -7. Okay. Here, it's decreasing. You'll notice it's not the same. So if you look at decreasing, maybe if you thought, okay, maybe this is arithmetic, you'll notice right away that it's not. So then if you want to try determine if it's geometric, the best way to do that is to take, if you're not sure what they might be multiplying, is to take 90 and then divide it, work backwards, and divide it by 180. And then take 60 divided by 90. That'll tell you what the multiplier is. If it's the same, you're in good shape. So let's try that. Okay. Go to my calculator here. All right, so I go 90 divided by 180, I get a half. Okay, so then the next one was 60 and 90. All right, so I'm going to try that. 60 divided by 90, not the same. It's 0.6 repeating. So those are not, we're not multiplying by the same number. So this is not arithmetic. It's not geometric. This one is neither. Okay. How about this last one here? It's decreasing, but it's not decreasing by the same number, so it's not arithmetic. Let's try geometric. So I'm going to just, again, work backwards, and just on each of these, see if I work backwards, I'm just going to divide and see if it's the same. So I'm going to go 1 divided by 5. That's 0.2. And then, if we try this one, I got 0.2 divided by 1. Well, that's 0.2 divided by 1 is also 0.2. So now let's do 0.00 or 0.04 divided by 0.2. Also 0.2. So this one is geometric. And my common ratio then is 0.2. Okay. Or the general rule or the explicit rule for geometric sequences is this. It's a sub n is equal to a sub 1, the first term, right, times your common ratio raised to the n minus 1 power. Okay, so this is helpful if you're trying to find a term way down the line. It's a lot easier than writing it out a bunch of times to get all the way to, in this case, would be the 11th term. So I'm going to use a couple of things here. I know that n is 11. I also know I'm trying to find the 11th term. Let's see, I'm trying to find a sub 1 as well. I know that that is 3, okay? And then I need my common ratio. So what are we multiplying? We know it's geometric, so we know we're multiplying by the same thing every time. It looks like we are multiplying by 4. 4. Okay, so my common ratio is 4. Now, I have everything I need to use this formula up here. Okay, so let's do that. A sub 11 is equal to the first term, which is 3, times common ratio 4. Some people like to put this in parentheses if that's better for you. Now, when we have n minus 1 here at the top, I guess I should put 11 is my n minus 1. So let's simplify this a little bit. So I have 3 times 4 to the 10th. Okay. So now I'm just going to go 4 to the 10th power. Get a big number. Now I'm going to multiply it by 3. Okay. So I get 3,145,728. I think it was 728. Let me just double check. Yeah. All right. So a big number, right? We're doing powers, so that's part of the reason why it gets pretty big pretty quickly. Okay. So that's how you use that explicit formula to help it go by a little bit faster. Okay, so same thing here, but maybe a little bit trickier. So we know that n is 10. We know that a sub 1 is 3/4. What is my common ratio? That would be the other thing I need, right? So it looks like on the top I'm not multiplying by anything, or I'm multiplying by 1, right? It's not changing. On the bottom, it's doubling, so 1/2, but it's also alternating between positive and negative. So then that must mean that I'm multiplying by negative 1/2 every time. Yeah. Okay, so my common ratio is negative 1/2. If you see a sequence that alternates, you're multiplying by a negative number. Okay, so now we can use the formula to find a sub 10 in this geometric sequence. So 3/4 times negative 1/2 to the 10 minus 1 power. So that's going to be to the 9th power. Now you could type it in just like that if you want, right into your calculator, and it'll tell you what you get. So we can try it that way. Oh, I forgot to put the negative here. There we go. All right. So if you do fractions, it's a good idea to put them in parentheses. So 3/4 times negative 1/2 to the 9th power. Okay, so I get negative 0.00146. Let's go a few decimal places on that. Let's double check. Okay, negative 0.00146. Okay, that's probably good. Rounded. The next number was less than 5, so we'll leave it that way. If you wanted to write it all out, that's fine too. If you wanted to convert it into a fraction, you can do that as well, because those were in fractions. So if you go math, you'll notice the first thing is fraction. Hit enter, enter. That's -3 over 2048. So if a lot of times they like it in the same version as this, so probably this is a little bit better answer. Okay. Find the 8th term of a geometric sequence. All you know is the 3rd term is 36, and the 5th term is 324. Okay. So one of the things that you can do is you can take this formula right here and just make it work for what you know. Instead of the 1st term, you can put the 3rd term there, you put the 5th term here, and then you got to modify this. Okay? So now normally this is a 1, and then you do like n minus 1. This is n, but instead we got 5 minus 3, so we're going to use that. Okay, so now we can just plug in and then do a little solving. Once we know the common ratio, then we're good. All right, so to solve this, I first need to get rid of 36. So I'm going to divide by 36 on both sides. So 324 is divided by 36 is 9. Okay, then to get rid of the squared, I'm going to take the square root. Now here's something to be aware of. Remember, when you take the square root, you really have 2 answers. The square root of 9 is 3, but it's also -3. So there's 2 possible answers here. I could get +3. I could also get -3 as my multiplier. Now that's important because if I'm trying to go, my answer could be, let's see, I got 324 for 6, 7, 8. So let's say my common ratio is 3, okay? Okay, so 324 times 3, 972, multiply by 3 again. $972, 2,916. Okay, and then one more time. 8,748. Okay, so one possible answer for a sub 8 would be this. Okay, but I also need to consider, what if r is -3? Because that was the other possibility. Okay. A sub 5 would still be the same. A sub 6 would be -972. A sub 7 would be 2,916. And A sub 8 would be -8,748. Okay, now because they asked for A sub 8, you'll notice there's 2 possible answers. One positive and one negative. Now, had they asked for A sub 7, though, there's only one answer, because you would have gotten the same thing either way. So it kind of depends on either one of those to make sure you've got. So just double check when you're going through. And that is geometric sequences. Hopefully that makes sense. Good luck. See ya.